in order to practice certain concepts and timing drills, we've developed from the traditional Kenjutsu katas a few drills you can work with yourself, or if you have students, you can teach your students as well. These will start to develop a better sense of distance, but more importantly, it's going to develop a sense of timing. So in this one, number one, we draw the sword, center position, and both shitachi and uchitachi come to migi haso, or right haso position, with the left foot forward. And so this is going to be a right, it starts with a right attack. I start to come in, and uchitachi cuts directly down the center line. So each attack that I come back to comes directly through the center line. We move through jodan, from haso through jodan, turning the body more forward toward shitachi. As we step in, we cut directly down the center. Shitachi does a tenshin motion and cuts with the kisaki up the center line, and then goes to the kote, cuts the monouchi on the kote, kisaki on the center line. I shuffle back, he shuffles back, and we come to migi haso. And the feet are going to be a little bit close together for me. So once I come back to the hidari haso, the left side, then I step forward and cut with my left foot. Notice that he is also on haso on his left side. I step in, and he steps in with his left foot, moving offline in a tension position, cutting, again, my body and the kote. I shuffle back again, feet come together. I come to a migi haso again, step right foot, cut. I shuffle back, hidari haso, step forward left foot, step back, haso, and then we finish naturally. Hey! 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 In our second drill for our concepts and timing drills, we're going to concentrate on movement, timing in terms of blocking and receiving a cut. This is taken from the Kenjutsu kata known as sarin. And so both shitachi and uchitachi will get an opportunity to practice the drill itself. So we'll start from a chudan no kamae, chudan position, with the sword just about crossed. And the beginning shitachi is going to try and cut the left kote on uchitachi's hand. So as he comes in, on the first maneuver, as he cuts, you're going to pull your hand back to your hip, and bring the sword directly overhead on this one. Then what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to cut his kote. So this is a diagonal cut now coming in. As I perform that cut, he pulls the hand back and pulls the right foot back at the same time. As I cut, I catch the sword in this position. So this is a diagonal cut. As I cut across the body, in a case of cut, I catch the sword, which now opens my kote for him to cut. As he does that, I pull back, and the sword comes across the front. Don't bring it too far back. If I come too far back, and he comes in deep, I get cut. So you've got to keep the sword a little bit out in front, just in case he comes a little deeper than you expect. The timing and the distance is a little off. So we'll start one more time. He starts, he comes in, he cuts to the left wrist. I come straight up. Then I cut diagonal. Then he cuts diagonal. Then I cut diagonal. Then he cuts diagonal. And this goes on until you felt that you've practiced the maneuver enough. Come back to center and perform your noto. So in this section of our DVD, we're going to explore the defensive or blocking drills that are imperative in order to perform the techniques on the rest of the DVD. The first one we're going to refer to as Ukekacshi. This is an Ukekacshi drill. Uke means to receive, kaishi means to reverse. So we're going to continually reverse and receive the other person's attack. So we start off Chudan no Kamae. And as Uchitachi, I'm going to attack first. And Shimbukuro Sensei is going to receive the technique. So I attack straight to the head. He pulls back, shuffling back. This is like a Shimamura high movement. Then he's going to reverse that attack and come back and cut me. I shuffle back and receive. Turn the sword, move in, and receive. Try to make sure that the monouchi is close enough that you can at least cut the kote of the head. Then he comes back, striking. Notice the kisaki keeps moving to my right. You don't want to try and move the kisaki to the left. You want to move the kisaki to the right on this waza. So we come back, reverse the sword, cut. Reverse the sword, cut. Reverse the sword, cut. Reverse the sword, cut. And you'll repeat this over and over until you can build up to a little bit higher speed and start to understand the distance and the timing. Go to the Chudan no Kamae and then return the sword to the normal position. Hey! 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 We're now going to explore the concept of blocking drills, incorporating the concept of Ukenagashi. Uke means, again, to receive. Nagashi means to flow. So the blocking technique in this segment is going to be receiving the technique, flowing around the technique, and then reversing and cutting. So we start by coming to the Chudan position. And then, as Uchitachi, I will step forward and do the first cut. This time, rather than moving forward and back as we did in Ukekacshi, we move side to side. So we move sideways first, and then as we reverse and cut, we step back. So we'll do this slowly. I'm going to step in and perform my cut to Jodan. Notice Shimbukuro Sensei moves directly sideways, bringing the sword to the opposite position this time. He steps to the side, turns his body, and then cuts. I then step forward to the side, turn my body, and I slip the sword and cut as I step back. He moves sideways, slips the sword, cuts, and steps back as I move sideways. And we continue to reverse this action over and over. So this is a side-to-side energy drill, timing drill, and blocking drill. And you'll continue to do this drill until you feel confident with the technique. Come back to the center line and return the sword to normal. Hey! 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 Hey!